Wow, Nissan is finished. Even its own executives are admitting as much privately to the press. After firing 10,000 people this year, including 1,000 in the United States last week and 1,000 on the exact same day in Thailand, a Nissan executive has said the company is in trouble. In fact, they actually said we have 12 or 14 months to survive. As I've been saying for years now, Nissan is on the verge of bankruptcy. And the biggest problem here is getting funding. Banks are saying, your debt is rated at junk, your sales are collapsing, and you don't have products people really want. Is it smart for us to lend you money? Well, okay, we'll lend you some money, but only on this condition. And that condition is what is causing all the problems for Nissan. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Now, guys, if you can tip us, there is a tip button on the screen. Based on the value you believe feel you've gotten from this episode, that would be fantastic. Nissan Motor Corporation, well, they are in search for an investor, basically someone with deep pockets who is willing to give the company the money it needs to keep paying its bills, as the company grapples with what it has labeled emergency mode during a press conference earlier this month. Measures include cutting 10,000 jobs, slashing 20% of its global manufacturing capacity, closing factories, selling off its shares in Mitsubishi, delaying the launch of new models, cancelling them altogether. Now, according to one Nissan official, the brand may have just 12 to 14 months to turn things around and basically figure out a way of getting out of the hole that they're in. I don't believe there's any chance of that happening. I honestly don't. I think the only way for Nissan going forward is that some other big company who are doing well, potentially maybe BYD, bails them out and purchases the company. Now, it is also possible the Japanese government could try to bail them out, but remember the Japanese government, Japan has more debt than any country in the history of the world. Any country by a significant margin. I mean, Japan's up here. In second place, it's so far down, it's ridiculous. Like watching a Usain Bolt run against 10-year-olds, for example. That's the difference. So sure, the Japanese government may want to bail out all of their entire automotive industry, but the reality is that they just can't. There's too much debt. Whilst I'm filming this video, the Nissan Automotive Company are selling their shares in Renault. So they've sold their shares in Mitsubishi, they're selling them in Renault, and fortunately for them, they actually own 46% of the Japanese brand. Well, actually they used to, now it's below 40%, but they're going to dump that stock because, well, they have to. Honda apparently is finalizing a deal with Nissan to co-develop electric vehicles. But honestly, Honda and Nissan, neither of these companies should have anything to do with each other whatsoever when it comes to EVs. Neither of them know what they're doing. They don't. They get contract manufacturers to build their electric cars for them. They don't know what they're doing. They're better off simply buying BYD vehicles and rebadging them as a Nissan or a Honda, which is what they do in China. Well, they don't exactly do that, but they do something similar to that in China. According to the Financial Times, at least 2 unnamed senior Nissan officials have confirmed the brand is looking for a new anchor investor. Good luck with that. We have 12 or 14 months to survive, one of them told FT. This is going to be tough, and in the end, we need Japan and the US to be generating cash, the senior official added. That said, it's plausible that either Honda could step in to be that anchor investor, or even that Renault could sell Nissan's shares directly to the rival brand. The other thing is, I mean, why exactly would anyone want anything to do with Nissan right now? I mean, really, if you saw a pile of shit on the road, would you really want to go and touch it and decide, yeah, I want this? Doesn't make any sense. Of course, you may recall back in August that there was a joint venture announced between Honda and Nissan. That was when former Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn made this prediction. Here's what he said. Now, this was the same Carlos Ghosn that escaped the Japanese prison systems by hiding in an instrument case, and then they flew him out of the country, and he's in Lebanon now, basically trying to escape from Japan. I can't imagine for one moment how it's going to work between Honda and Nissan unless it's a takeover. unless it's a disguised takeover by Honda of Nissan and Mitsubishi with Honda in the driver's seat. It's going to be a takeover, a disguised takeover. So Carlos Ghosn, the former CEO of Nissan, now remember that Ghosn did pretty well at Nissan. They actually made some profit when he was there. They weren't doing too badly. And the Nissan Leaf came under his watch. The Nissan Leaf was revolutionary when it came out. It was the best-selling EV in the world for years and years. He's saying that this so-called joint venture to make EVs is actually really disguised. It's a disguised hostile takeover. Now, the question is, Honda, are they really in a better position than Nissan? Only marginally, very, very marginally. The possibility is still on the table though. Whether Nissan has multiple options for its survival or only a few, being in emergency mode is far from an enviable position. So why would companies want to buy a manufacturer when they're in emergency mode? Why not wait for them to go bankrupt, then buy the brand then? In my opinion, that would make the most sense. Then you could use the brand, you can turn it into whatever you want. You don't have to deal with all the hierarchy or the employees making internal combustion vehicles. More than 96% of Nissan's vehicle sales, in fact, I think it's about 98% are internal combustion. They don't make good hybrids. They don't make good internal combustion cars. They make okay EVs. Why would you want any of this? In my opinion, the brand is still good. The actual name Nissan, that means something. Not in China anymore, but that means something. That could be basically, I think, brought back from the dead. But would you really want all these factories making internal combustion engine vehicles? Let them go bankrupt. Get rid of all that debt and start again. That, in my opinion, is the only way to save Nissan. I think other automakers are looking on, watching the shambles, watching Nissan basically destroy itself from within. Remember, this is the company I've reported on many times. Now, I never use the word toxic. I hate that phrase. But when it comes to Nissan, I can't think of a better phrase to use. The company is a toxic mess. They literally spy on their own employees in their own houses. They put video cameras. They've been proven to do this. This is not me making this up. This is true. They put cameras in their employees' houses to try and find dirt on them, right? If they don't want someone in the hierarchy, the Nissan hierarchy, rather than trying to actually fire them, right? They try to get dirt on them by filming them in their own houses. This is the kind of things going on at the Nissan automotive company. Can you really expect a company like this that is carrying on in the most shambolic way to succeed? It's just not going to happen.